everybody, and welcome to the impromptu-ish Monday afternoon live stream. My name is 3080 Connor.
And I am 3090 Andrew.
Indeed. And today we are going to be building Anubis.
Yep. So Anubis is a workstation designed for Photoshop, Illustrator, and After Effects. I'm reading all of this with mine on.
I can't.
Just to prove a point.
My eyesight is terrible. You don't understand that.
These are glasses I 3D printed in the design of the new GPU coolers. So this is designed for Photoshop, Illustrator, and After Effects, basically Adobe Suite. So we are centered around an AMD Ryzen 7 3800X. It's an 8-core 16-thread processor with single-core boost up to 4.5 gigahertz. It will be cooled by a Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 4, which is over there in the middle. It'll be slotted in a Gigabyte B550 AOS Pro AC motherboard with 32 gigabytes of Team T-Force Vulcan Z DDR4 3200 memory. For storage, we have a 1 terabyte Samsung 970 EVO Plus drive, as well as a 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda mechanical drive, which I have over with me. For GPU, we're actually reusing the client's old, it's not that old, it's still a 1080, a GTX 1080 EVGA for the win edition. Yeah, it's a few years old, but you know, it still holds up well, especially if your task is not completely focused around the graphics card, which this isn't really. For power, 750 watt. Website is incorrect. We have a Corsair RM750 here, which will be installed in a Fractal design Meshify C black with everything else, and some Phanteks fans to keep everything nice and cool.
And to also correct another one, we now have, instead of a gigabyte, it is actually a ROG Strix B550F gaming Wi-Fi.
Yeah, still a very good board.
It's still a very good board. Actually, I think this one's actually a better board than the gigabyte, but...
Basically, same board, different brand.
Yeah, more or less.
Because stock. Okay, I'll take this off now.
Indeed.
So I can actually see screws and stuff.
So, we're now going to go ahead and jump right on into it.
Yep. And that was totally worth like 5 hours worth of 3D printing for 2 pairs of glasses. They are kind of cool though.
Yeah. They are cool.
Since you can't have a real 3080 because they're all out of stock. Because I probably checked my, I have 5 sites saved in a Chrome folder, so I can right-click the folder and open all in new tabs. I probably opened that about 5 times today and didn't see any stock of anything, so you know, it's still basically no stock anywhere.
And also, half of them crash.
Yeah, well that's the thing, you need. I think they've halted sales on a lot of those, especially the EVGA ones.
Yeah, I mean, almost every manufacturer has had a card that does that. The only one that has not has been actually Asus.
Asus and the Founders.
Asus and the Founders. Asus, the Tough Edition, which actually used to be a more budget kind of
They didn't even make Tough until like, what, last gen?
No, they had...
Did they even make Tough graphics cards last gen?
Oh, graphics cards?
No.
Yeah.
I never saw a Tough 2080.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
I've seen motherboards.
They did have the Tough series because on my motherboard
I
is
know,
Tough, and that's a Z170.
They've had the motherboards for a while, but I've never seen a graphics card.
And the mysterious voice in the background is Chris. He is behind the cameras, if you will, behind the monitors. He is responding to chat.
So I guess, let me backpedal this real quick. For those of you who may not be aware, the 3080s, a lot of the aftermarket manufacturers of those cards who design the PCB and power delivery and all that for the chips, a lot of them are having issues where the companies basically cheaped out trying to use cheaper, I'm gonna get this wrong, was it capacitors or was it, I think it was capacitors, wasn't it?
No, they weren't.
I thought it was, yeah, capacitors, I thought it was. It's the ones directly behind the, they cheaped out using cheaper components than they should have, trying to save a buck. And it results in, when the cards try to turbo boost over 2 gigahertz, they crash. Yep. So the only brands unaffected that we're currently aware of is Asus Tough, I believe it's their OC model. Or
actually, it's all the Asus models.
Okay, that and the NVIDIA reference cards.
Yep, and if you guys are curious, the easiest way to tell is if you look on the back of the card. Actually, we have
As if
cards.
anyone has a, oh no.
No
one has a 3080, don't be silly.
Nobody has it. Well, I was saying if they're considering trying to buy one.
Oh, well,
you can actually see.
Or you can just look at the brand you're buying. But yeah, you can kind of see on this one here, There's a few little chip things poking through. If you go online and look up this issue, they'll show you what the good ones look like.
Yep, so they're actually the bigger ones. There are 6 little nodes, and each manufacturer can choose how many of those capacitors that they want to put in them. Either one singular big one or 6 small ones. The companies that put no small ones in it because they're more expensive are the ones that actually crash. And the actual like reference style has 2 of those. They're actually in the middle.
Yep.
So you have 2 big ones.
No,
a bunch of small ones, and then 2 big ones.
Oh yeah. So 2 big.
And that is the same thing on the 3090 as well. That is the actual standard spec.
Yep.
NVIDIA, contrary to what they have usually done in the past, actually basically put it all on the table and put all of the performance out right off the bat. So a lot of the manufacturers are trying to throw on like insane amounts of overclocking, boosting. Basically.
That's what they've always done, but
you can't do that anymore, especially if they're not having the components.
Yep, and I will say, with the 2000 series of RTX, we kind of saw the same amount of overhead as far as overclocking, or very close to it. But where Turing got its big advantage was in memory overclocking. And now the cards have moved to GDDR6X.
Yep, 6X.
So it's so much faster out of the box that that benefit really is not there for memory.
And before you guys give a bunch of hate to the companies, they actually really couldn't foresee this coming.
They were very rushed.
Well, no, not only that. NVIDIA never provided drivers.
Oh, really?
They don't provide drivers until basically release. So there was no way that they could really... They have like test drivers and things, but they didn't have any that actually would boost it. Yep. That was the issue. So keep that in mind if you are looking and pursuing the 3080 or 3090 series, if they ever come in stock. Maybe before you buy, take that hesitation and double check to make sure that's not one of the models that crash.
Yeah.
Because that would be a bummer.
I will say though, it is kind of nice to know that there are a bunch of scalpers stuck with cards that crash now. And it's not something that a firmware update or anything like that, or a driver or anything like that can fix.
Well, it is. They're just, it's going
to
reduce your performance so drastically, because these manufacturers that put out these cards, can offer a, RMA more or less, return to the manufacturer.
Basically a replacement.
And basically give you a replacement, but a lot of people aren't going to go through the logistical headache of that. So what they're going to have to basically do is release a patch that then limits the performance of your card.
Which sucks.
So that would be like, I don't know if a lot of folks know card talk and things, but the Bugatti gives you only, I think, up to 200 miles an hour, and then you have to have the speed key, which then unlocks the extra 240 some odd miles an hour.
Tesla does something similar with its 0 to 60s, with its acceleration speed.
But this one's a physical key, and if you don't have that key...
This one's all electronics, of course.
Yeah. And if you don't have that key, then you don't boost up. So that's exactly the same concept here, is they're basically just taking away everyone's speed keys and saying, aha, you cannot run that high of performance.
Yeah. This whole release has really been kind of a... Woo! It's been a fun time.
But at the same time, to juxtapose that, like, the 3080 is an amazing...
Still a very good
amazing
card. It's just sad that the release and post-release now has had all these issues that have kind of painted it in bad light and made consumers less likely to just instant purchase it. Because if I was maybe not in as much as the space as I am, and I saw this news, I'd be like, well, I'm just not going to buy one ever. I don't want my card to crash.
And that also leads us into AMD is releasing their version of their contender for this next generation of graphics cards, really within the next week or two.
The contender word is very strong. Especially the last few generations, AMD has been pretty content at competing at the low to mid level, because that's pretty much all they can do. So we'll see. I don't have high expectations. I want it to be great, but there was nothing AMD had last gen that could touch the 2080 or 2080 Ti, really.
Can you hand me the correct mounting hardware this time?
It's over there.
I can't reach it. Oh, is it? Did you actually put it back in
yes,
the box? Oh, I didn't know. It was out earlier before the stream, so that's why I was like,
hey.
If you guys did not see that last stream, we got the mounting hardware screwed up between the Dark Rock 4 Pro and the Dark Rock 4. Got a little frustrating, and and basically ended up Andrew had big brain plays and figured out that we had the wrong mounting bracket. But hey, now we have the correct mounting bracket.
And now we know for the future.
Now we know.
In case we ever open 2 different models of cooler at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time. Mind you, they're doing it just to make sure that the clearances would fit on one of the new cases that we're going to be looking for, or looking at, using.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have it.
So, it looks like Andrew has installed the power supply. I have gone ahead and tossed in our M.2, our RAM, and our 3800X. Yeah.
Yes.
3800X.
3800X. Which also, we are a little over a week, about a week and a half from AMD's new Ryzen announcement. So this will be their Zen 3. So this was a little confusing to me when Ryzen was starting. So right now we're at the 3000 series, which is the Zen 2, codenamed Zen 2, also codenamed Matisse because reasons.
Yep.
So this will be Zen 3. And word on the street is they'll be skipping the 4000 series of lettering because that's been used for a few months now in their mobile chips, their laptop CPUs that have integrated GPUs, VEGA GPUs. So we're expecting to hear about Ryzen 5000 chips and 6000 series GPUs all very soon here.
Yep. Mind you, that's also an announcement, meaning that they will probably go on sale in... assuming how 2020 is going, you'll probably get your hands on one in 2022.
Yeah, I would. In all seriousness, I would expect no less than a month after the announcement.
They are very open and very
probably
confident.
More like 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, they went out and already announced that they are very confident that they will not have stocking issues. And
which I can actually believe because they have been one of TSMC's priority customers on their fabs. They're still using the 7nm process that the previous chips has, I believe. But we don't know that for sure. But I wouldn't, I'm sure they'll have good supply, but, sellouts, who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, and scalpers.
They could have decent or very good supply and it still sell out a lot of shit, the SKUs, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yes.
If you guys want to hear more about that, I'm sure we'll be posting some about it as those announcements and releases come out on our Facebook page, Top Flight Computers, as well as our website, topflightpc.com. Might see some banners and information there as we get more information. Just like you'll see the RTX 3000 information up there now. We have changed all our configs around to all the applicable
both actually
to the 3000 series, although there is not availability yet. So we're working on that tirelessly day and night.
Indeed, we
refreshing the new egg.
And we actually have contacts at AMD, so there's a potential that we may try to reach out to see if we cannot get a review.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll try.
We will try. There is absolutely zero promise on that one.
Yeah.
But that way we could actually test it for ourselves, as well as all of the ones that you should trust. Steve, Gamers Nexus really is the only one. If you want opinions, then you go to the other ones.
He definitely has the best controlled and scientific testing.
You
can definitely get very informed opinions from plenty of other YouTubers. Asus, Sense, Linus Tech Tips, Bitwit. They all have great information, but for the raw numbers and scientific jargon.
Yep. I would go Steve first, then Linus, then Bitwit, and then at the bottom would be Jay. Jay likes to throw in a lot of opinions, and that's totally fine.
Well, Linus does that too.
Yeah, but they're not as in your face. Yeah, your Gamers Nexus shirt.
Yeah. Actually, if it's on release date, I will tend to watch Linus's video first because he does a good job of giving you the TLDR.
Yeah, Steve's is a very good in-depth, but that's also the issue. It's almost too in-depth.
Yeah, I mean those videos are usually about an hour, and if you're just trying to get a "is it good" opinion,
yeah, you watch Linus.
You can half-time you just read Linus's titles, but
true.
I think his last one was for 39, it was for 38. He said NVIDIA, you promised, or something like that.
Yep.
Oh, when you get a second, can you hand me the hard drive slide out there as well?
Yep.
Once you get the board.
Skipped a standoff. I put it in the wrong one. I put it literally like one too close to me.
That's no good.
Nope, it is not.
Don't short out the board.
And I don't know where my little tool. There it is. They always provide. This case does not have pre-installed standoffs, so they include the standoffs and
An adapter.
a little adapter for Phillips to hex.
Standoff hex.
Yep, standoff hex.
And Connor, why do motherboards and cases need standoffs anyway?
So you don't do the electric boogaloo.
Yeah, so if you look at the back of a motherboard, lots of components are what's called surface mounted, and then they're welded in, not welded, soldered in. And on the back of the board, that solder sticks through and protrudes from the board. So if two of those touch another piece of metal, like your case, motherboard tray, bad news bears. You'll probably short it and kill it.
Yep. So the standoffs actually have especially they're put on the motherboard in specific locations to a certain standard.
Yeah.
And on those is usually your grounding pins will go there.
Yeah, it also just I don't even know if that it really does ground the board. I think that's the power supply's job, but it really does just elevate the whole board off so that nothing is.
The only reason I say that is because around every screw hole is bits of solder.
I've seen that. I don't know if it's used for
I mean, it would make
grounding
sense
that.
because, well, your motherboard has electronic components, so it does need a ground.
Well, your power supply has lots of ground wires going to it.
True, but I don't think your like the surface mounted components go through your power supply. I think they actually go through the standoffs themselves.
I don't know. I'm sure we'll have no way of knowing this ever. I'm sure, but
Steve!
I'm sure we can figure it out. No, I'm sure Steve would know, but I'm tempted to say all the ground rails will come from the power supply, but
there are ground rails in the power supply.
yeah. When you look at a non-colored or sleeved cable like the ones on this power supply, we call them ketchup and mustard cables a lot. You can see the different colors mean different things. So green is the on signal, black is ground. I'm gonna mess this up. I'm sorry, Mr. Stone. 12 volts is red, orange is 5 volts, yellow is 3.3. I don't know.
Yeah,
They all have different voltages and uses.
I was about to say, yeah, that was
I don't know the exacts. I used to know. It's been a while.
somebody that I used to know. I was gonna give you the screws, but I don't know where they are.
I think I have them already. I sold them earlier.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, I
hope-
don't see the screws.
I hope I have. I think it's these weird ones with the big heads.
The long one? Yeah.
So we'll find out. We'll then venture together. We're going on a trip. My favorite trip. Full Einstein's for you.
And I'm tossing in a SATA cable because did you put SATA power?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. We always forget about that usually.
I've gotten better at nailing the cables, I think.
We just have our wall be quiet screwdrivers.
I did
which
not check
we're
how
gonna
many
get more.
PCIe powers. I assumed it was 1 8-pin, and I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, it's an 8 and 4.
Did I double check if I put 2 in there? I might have. I can't remember.
It does not look like it. You did?
Oh, okay. I guess I was paying attention.
You accidentally paid attention. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Andrew.
I'm just gonna start putting 2 in every time, and if we don't need it, stuck it back there.
I mean, not the worst.
Future expansion used. There we go.
No, not the worst idea. It's always a bummer when a client calls us and it's like, "Hey, I want to upgrade to X, Y, and Z," and then it's like, shoot, we need one specific cable.
Yeah. Although we have started including, especially a SATA harness if you don't have a hard drive.
Because of that, we've now started including all of the cables necessary for upgrades. Most of them, at least. Yeah.
Within reason.
This is true.
All right. Got the hard drive now. Hope it goes this way with the slide.
Yes.
That's good. This way I put it. You even got those nice rubber grommets to isolate the vibrations.
I'm now tossing in our CPU power.
Before you mount the cooler, I noticed.
Indeed. And then I'm going to do a lot of cable management while Andrew monologues about a random subject that I have no idea what it is about today.
Let's see. Should I go like
We went through all of like our
we went
tech
on
news
the
on
tech
Friday.
news, yeah. Well, we just have what else we have. Let's see. What have I can't think of anything.
I know, it's so hard to like be put on the spot and be like, ha!
I've also used so many of my good topics up.
Right?
So I have to start.
So if you guys have any topics or any questions,
Yeah.
please feel free, let us know. Chris
Yeah,
is behind the
start
camera answering questions.
Start reiterating things soon.
Yep.
I showed you, I started watching a lot of very old PC hardware videos the other day.
Yes, you did.
I was going back like 8 years. I watched an 8150, FX 8150 release review.
Why?
That was Bulldozer.
Why does that interest
This
you?
was 7 or 8 years ago. It was old enough that he was on, not his, it was not Linus Tech Tips, it was NCIX Tech Tips. I like going back and reliving some of that nostalgia because that was when I was really starting to get into PC hardware and stuff, and seeing how far we've come is also a big thing because, you know, if you compare a 3950X to an 8150, which were basically the same kind of level when they were both released, it's quite the jump. I think the Ryzen would win, Connor.
I think one core of the Ryzen would win.
Wouldn't surprise me. That thing was, I don't want to say hot garbage. It was hot, and it was garbage. Even by then standards, it wasn't a great CPU, so AMD has definitely stepped up their game in their CPU division. I'll say that. Because they had to compete with Ivy Bridge, and Bulldozer wasn't doing it.
Kind of plug in all front panel connectors.
I guess I can also talk about the card we have here a little more. So this is the client's previous video card, which will be reusing this build. Still very capable card for sure. This is a GTX 1080.
Again, I still use it. Like I have a Gigabyte 1080 that's water cooled.
I mean, this is a for the win, so it's not a slouch. It's EVGA for the win 1080. So this, I don't know the TDP on it. Probably what 250 watt.
Yeah, I think it's like 250 or 2.
Something in there. It's got nice big fans on small, big bulky cooler, 2 8-pins for power. So I'll be throwing this in to, keep its lifespan alive. Still very usable for these workloads, of course, or anything really.
It really is.
Just, I guess I'll reiterate this. Because a new product is released does not mean your old investment has stopped working.
Yeah, that is one thing that a lot of people do not understand.
I am very guilty of the upgrade itch. I will...
You were really bad about it.
I know, but I feel like it's part of my job almost at this point.
Yeah,
to be on top of it.
I mean, I could literally bring up texts of just like, yeah, the 3080 is pretty decent. I don't need it, but I can't resist. So I'm buying it.
I said no one should buy it on release,
but
I'm going to try to buy one. Yeah, it's just part of the, I guess, part of being a hardcore enthusiast. Also having adult money now, Yeah, I don't have a ton of expensive hobbies. I don't have a big car payment or a mortgage or anything, so it's kind of what I like to do with my free money. And
that's nice.
Yeah. My car's paid off, no mortgage, just rent, which I manage, day jobs.
Well, rent is like mortgage, basically.
Rent is higher than mortgage.
Rent is very higher than mortgage.
Yeah, especially in the middle of where I live.
Oh yeah, I was looking at that today. I was like, wow, I could get a very nice house for what I'm paying.
I think I've told you what my rent is, right?
Yeah,
it is not fun. Anyway, different rant. Not computer related necessarily. But yeah, I definitely get the upgrade itch, but I always advise using the hardware you have until it is no longer enough to complete your task well. And as well as not doing things like pre-ordering or even buying day of release, really, as we've seen with these 3080s. Let's say you did get a Strix 3080 day of release, and now you have this crashing issue.
Strix didn't.
I just picked a random SKU. I picked a random SKU. I'm not targeting you, Asus. We're using their board.
The only reason I just chuckle at that because Asus is the only company that this has not happened to.
Yeah.
Because I mean, truthfully, it does speak to the quality, and this is a kind of very unbiased way to look at the quality of cards and things.
That's
you can see are the different companies and such of which ones actually cheaped out on their. Some of these cards are high tier. These are $800 cards, and they're still crashing.
Yeah, and I watched Billzoid, actually hardcore overclocking video about this thing. The difference in price between the tough card VR or capacitors or whatever it was, and the ones that were failing, less than $5 difference.
Yep, but they were more expensive. That was the big one.
Yeah, if you, I guess when you look at it, if you're cutting $3, $4, $5 per card, and you're shipping 10,000 cards this month, that's a lot of money. So, but they definitely need to be more wary in the future of cutting costs like that, I would say, especially after this lesson learned. I think NVIDIA can also step up though in helping their AIB partners get ready for releases.
They definitely
provide a full BIOS, give them plenty of time, because they were also very rushed on this release. They did not get a substantial amount of time to test and verify.
Yep.
So it's just all around kind of a clown circus. I'll save my other term.
That's fair.
What was I ranting about before that? I had something. Oh yeah, I was just using your hardware till it's bad. Now, in my defense, I have other computers in my house that take my old hardware more often. So it's not just going straight to a landfill, but electronic components are not great for waste. E-waste is kind of a pain to deal with, and it ends up in landfills. It's not great, so being eco-friendly too.
Yeah, so if you do need to get rid of something, bring it to your local computer store. They will recycle it for you.
Yep.
Or you
usually for free.
Yeah.
Almost always for free. If not, you can always go down, if you're in the Raleigh-Durham area, you can go to Triangle E-Cycling, and they will take you all of your stuff and recycle it or get rid of it properly. Yeah, and if it was kind of a high-end thing that you bought just a few years ago, contact me. I'll take it for free. I'll sell it on eBay now.
Yeah, reselling components is also a very big thing.
If you, let's say, if you had a 1070 or 1060 and it wasn't doing it for you anymore, you can still sell it on eBay and get not a lot of money, but some money back, and more importantly, maybe someone else will still be able to get use out of that. Yep. Or donating it to a college student who needs something, or a younger brother, younger cousin who wants a gaming computer.
Or another very good resource, and Chris, you're going to have to back me up on this one because I forgot the gentleman's name. Gentleman that makes the...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, the gentleman that makes the computers for the disabled veterans.
Shellback.
Yep. You post that in chat. Yep. Chris is posting. We met a phenomenal gentleman who takes donations and things to that effect and actually creates computers for disabled veterans.
Yep.
We're going to do a collaboration with him, but that fell through.
Oh, and not to downplay him, but Triangle Recycling also has their proceeds go to charity. So
yes.
They have all that on their
Yeah, no, definitely not to. It's not downplayed by any means. It's just where it goes.
Yeah, and Chris has also posted a link to Shellback Tech Facebook page in the chat.
So check them out too.
There's our shaming and moral speech, I guess.
Yeah.
Not as much of a rant this week, or tech education.
Yeah, it's not really tech education. It's more of just like.
Of course, I'm not sure anyone's ever learned anything from me.
Just do smart. Cool. Be smart. Don't go
be
crazy.
Good.
Don't just throw something out because there's inherent value to it.
Yeah.
Even if it's just not to you.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're recycling electronics, a lot of times they'll strip it down pretty darn far. They'll even take take special solvents to get golds off the pins and stuff like that. Really, the only parts that become a total waste are maybe some plastic shrouds.
No, they get recycled.
PCB.
They get recycled.
Well, the PCBs are usually trash. Just the chemicals in them.
Yeah, those are.
They'll make them conducive to recycling. But yeah.
Just finishing up some cable management here, and then we are good to go.
Nice. Then you'll have fun mounting that cooler.
Yeah.
Which I guess I could. Well, I mean, I could take the fan out of the middle. That's about all I can do for you.
Yeah, you can't really. You could mount that front fan, I guess.
What do you mean? No, it's already on there.
Oh yeah, that's it. Never mind.
Yeah, so we're using the Dark Rock Pro 4 on this 3800X. Keep it very chilly. And a lot of people say, oh, if you want to get better performance than an air cooler like this, you have to go to water cooling. But very often, actually, these dual tower coolers outperform AIO liquid coolers. So it is
just a matter of where you want to dissipate your heat to. That's the main thing.
It's certainly no slouch. And you see this is a pretty choppy cooler. So if you don't have space in your case, or you want to dissipate it out a certain way, then yeah, maybe an AIO will be better. But they also look. I used to think these look bad. Now I think they look good. But
I like the look of them, actually, personally.
Yeah, they're very.
It depends
very
on if you like your RAM and if you like the color scheme of your motherboard.
Yeah, I guess I can go a little education. So these are actually fluid cooling. So inside these heat pipes that take the heat away from the cold plate here and up through the fins to be cooled by the fans and airflow. These are actually filled with fluid. So these are they work on capillary reactions. So the cold plate heats up the fluid inside of the heat pipe, and it kind of travels up to the fins, and then as it cools, it goes back down, back to the bottom. So it's kind of like your AC compressor in a way. So technically, every computer is water cooled. It's just not water.
Liquid cooled.
Fluid cooled. I don't even think it's technically a liquid.
Yeah, because it changes.
It changes to a gas. Yeah, it's sciencey. They're still very efficient.
So they are.
And you don't have to deal with the point of failure of the pump, which is kind of a downside of water cooling for sure, and additional noise of a pump, I would say.
That is one thing why workstations and things you'll most often see, and especially what we will propose, is air cooling. Because it's
where we can.
Where we can, yeah.
Sometimes it's not feasible if you have 4 very powerful video cards, stuff like that.
Correct.
But not having the pump failure possibility, as well as even with high-end AIOs and all that stuff, being as careful as you can, there's always the possibility of a leak.
Well, not even that, it's just downtime too. You know, pump dies or whatever, then it's adding more points of failure.
Downtime and cost. You know, if your $10,000 computer is now a $10,000 doorstop because your pump leak, it's kind of a brainer. But it really is not very common nowadays. AIOs have a lifespan of 3 to 5 years, I would say. I think that's kind of the consensus.
Yeah. Well, usually they're warranted to 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess that's the manufacturer's expected lifespan.
So now we have, this is the cable management so far. Again, this cable, this is going to be our one that powers our graphics card. So that'll be buttoned up here in just a moment. So I'm going to go ahead.
Did you run a SATA cable already?
Yep, already ran it, already plugged it in.
Alright, cool.
So now I'm going to have fun with this.
Oh, pass me the clips. I'll put clips on this at least. Oh wait, this goes in the. Wait, does this clip in the middle?
Yes,
yeah, it does.
It still clips.
Yeah, I'll put the clips on.
I don't know what clips or what.
I feel like you saw the ones from last week.
I think I do too. So good luck.
What do you? I can't even test which ones.
I think it's the short ones.
Oh, look short. They're all sticking together too.
Yep, and we like to put the cooler on last. If you watch some of our previous very early streams with Will, we screwed that up a lot.
We learned.
And we got a lot of cuts in our hands.
These are literally all the same size. I don't know what I'm...
They may all be the same. And then this one actually has a little knurled caps cover here. So then you can actually fit a screwdriver down in there.
Yep.
But what I did last time, which actually worked exceptionally well, is I just pre-put the screws in the hole. Then
I'm trying to use all my brain power to figure out which way this should go. We're gonna see if I'm right.
I'm gonna get this here. And boom. See, now you don't have to worry about, because the issue is the holes here, don't actually line up, or they line up with the screws, but they don't, they're not big enough to fit a screw through. Which, needless to say, no!
Oh, I heard it.
I thought I had it screwed in.
I heard it. There's gotta be a better way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I had it was working, just it didn't work.
It was working until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, these don't even like stay on. There's gotta be a better way to do this too.
Alright, there we go. Now, where did that screw go?
And hold this until you're ready for it. So
Wait, really? Where did that screw go? That's the...
For one reason or another, you're gonna have to find that eventually.
Yeah?
Okay, Andrew, you want to bring out the build?
That is a good idea. I will hold this fan precariously while I do that.
Oh, I'm gonna grab the phone and...
Alright, so tonight we are building Anubis. So this is a system designed for the Adobe suite, so Photoshop, Illustrator, and After Effects mainly. We have an AMD Ryzen 7 3800X for those 8 cores and 16 threads to be taken advantage of.
It got stuck in between the heat pipes of the cooler.
Oh,
That's
nice.
actually impressive.
The CPU is being cooled by a Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 4 and a Gigabyte B550
Nope.
Aorus Pro
Nope.
AC.
Nope. Asus.
Oh, I didn't refresh. Hold on. I'm pretty sure it's an Asus Strix B550F gaming. That's the
Yeah,
one
it's
we've used in the
B550, yeah.
past. We have 32 gigs of RAM, a 1TB Samsung 970 EVO Plus NVMe drive for the boot drive and applications, as well as a Seagate Barracuda Compute 2TB for more slow but bulkier storage. We have the client's prior build EVGA GTX 1080 8GB for the win card, as well as a Corsair 750-watt power supply and a Fractal design Meshify C case. Connor's working on screwing in that CPU cooler there so we can get that going, get the graphics card installed, and then we'll give her a test boot at the end here.
And then screw on the decorative caps again.
Yeah, I don't really know why I put these on. You're gonna have to put them on after you put it through. Anyway,
Yeah, I got it. That's the issue.
Basically, everything I've done here was pointless. But
Well, you maybe figured out which ones go up there.
I mean, they're all the same, literally.
Are they?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Well, I guess that's the same between the two coolers. At least.
I was curious why they gave us a splitter in the Dark Rock 4 last week. And I was like, why do they expect you to put on an extra fan?
See, if you just used 2 more brain cells, we would have figured it out already.
I know. It was so funny because I was like, wow, that's actually a really weird, why do they give you a splitter? Huh.
And they only give you 1 fan with it.
Yeah, they only give you 1 fan. I was like, that's not like Dark Rock.
We are nothing if not consistently
Obnoxious,
I don't want
but
to say
consistent.
stupid, but stupid is as stupid does.
That's one of the YouTubers that I follow. He's an artist, but that's his shirt that he has. His whole saying is
It's
like,
a J.
It's a J. It's just obnoxious but consistent.
Yeah, that's
And it's such a good saying. Hey, these are too big.
I've got bad news for you then, Bob. Try it.
No,
Those
see,
two?
look, do you see the size difference?
Oh yeah, okay. That way they're different.
I need the smaller one.
Okay, this is a small
That's
one.
a big one. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so all those then 4 are now going to be the big ones.
Well, they're going in the trash, I guess.
Yeah, because we're not using them.
Yep. So I guess I'll talk briefly about the workloads that this computer is being used for. So the Adobe Suite, while it does certainly have some GPU acceleration built in, especially the video, Premiere Pro and After Effects can do some CUDA and video card acceleration stuff when you're working with it. I would say still really the core of it is a lot of CPU work.
CPU, it is.
So that's why we chose a higher clock to 3800X over something like a 3700X. Get that extra oomph on the single core turbos especially. You get the 4.5 gigahertz max. So that'll speed up the work and make it lickety split. Because the faster you work, the more work you can do, and the more work you can do, the more money you can make.
Yeah. The only difference I will say in Premiere Pro, like Andrew mentioned, is, yeah, I said one little thing.
Yeah.
Is when you're doing rendering, then you will render out and you will use CUDA, which
Even then, it still hits your CPU.
It does, yeah, 'cause it's still got to encode it.
Yeah, some things cannot be at least efficiently handled on a GPU, because the GPU can only really accelerate tasks that are like graphics.
Or yeah, that use graphics,
Yeah, so
basically.
some tasks still have to be done on CPU, really.
But yeah, mainly it is CPU, especially like in Illustrator is a raster base?
Raster.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry. Illustrator's vector.
Illustrator's vector. There
Photoshop
we
is
go. Photoshop is, yeah. So those is all, or that's all. Vector is basically dividing shapes and things into triangles. Yeah. So it's all math.
It's lines and equations.
So it's not really GPU bound. It's mainly CPU because you're doing all of like the mathematical.
Yeah. You really just have to draw shit on the screen. Draw stuff on the screen.
Chris, bleep that out.
I get 1 a week.
Yeah, PG-13 gives us 1 swear word.
Look, no one's in chat anyway. It's fine. Yeah. So you just have to draw stuff on the screen. That's all the GPU is really doing. So.
Yep. And actually, fun fact about that: you can't actually draw a circle in.
Yes. It's just like Minecraft.
You cannot draw a circle because eventually it'll perceive like a circle, but if you zoom in very, very far, it'll just be lines and triangles, basically.
Yes. Because pixels.
Because, yep, pixels.
I mean, it can have a representation of a circle in its memory, but it's going to have to convert it to pixels, which will make it blocky if you get close enough.
Yes, indeed.
So I'm just plugging in these power leads for the 1080 here.
Struggling there a little bit?
No, actually, it was easier than last week. It's just a matter of getting them to look decent. Okay, cut that right in there. Okay, I believe we're about ready for a test boot here.
Perfect. Wait, we gotta put on the glasses again. You know, start and end the stream the same way.
We don't have a 3080 in here.
True.
Okay, hold on, let me get my glasses back.
Whoops.
I know they're very comfortable.
They don't stay on very well.
No, don't look down. They're 3D printed, okay?
Just don't look down.
That's... I'm gonna have to hold my head sideways. Okay, the board has RGB arrays, that's a good sign. And our card is showing some RGBs. Got fan spin.
Oh, you already clicked the button? I didn't even...
Yeah, it's very silent.
It is.
Totally part of our design. Yeah, no. All our computers are pretty quiet, actually.
They are. We tend to upgrade a lot of the fans just to get that quietness and the airflow. Yep.
Stock fans, even on cases nowadays, are really not very good.
No, they're not good. They cut a lot of corners.
Oh, and VGA.
And now we wait.
And wait for it. Boot! Green boot LED.
Perfect.
Alright, so this has been Anubis, a workstation for Adobe Suite. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to check out others on our YouTube channel by subscribing. If you want to build like this, you can check us out at topflightpc.com. There's a contact us form there. You can check out our previous work too. You can follow us on Facebook at Top Flight Computers and join our Top Flight crew page for nerd discussion. Maybe I'll sell some of these. Just kidding, I'll have licensing. And yeah, unless Connor has anything to add.
My face. No, I think you nailed it right on the head. And our next stream is Chris. Insert next stream date.
I think it's next Monday.
Next Monday?
Probably next Monday, but make sure to follow our Facebook page to know for sure.
Yep, indeed. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.